Alright, what's up you guys? Welcome back everybody. This is Janos with Trading Spies. Today we had a nice day, could have been a much nicer, but one little mistake I committed today. As we get to it, I'm gonna explain, and this is you guys have to watch out because I think it's happening with new traders more, so it would be a valuable lesson. And what is the best way to learn is out of somebody else's mistake, right? So it's going to be one example what you can learn a lot out of it today. So today we traded 6 times. 5 of them was a winner, 1 of them was a loser, 4 to the short side, 2 of them to the long side. Again, it was a nice day. So let's get started. All right, what's up you guys? So let's start the recap here. So the morning we had the news came out 8:30 CPI year over year, month over month. The news wasn't by expectation, so the market dropped. We regained a little bit. We created a sort of double bottom right there, right? And we start to regain control. So what I was looking at, because we have this very congested area over here with a big drop, my thinking as we came up to the same area, exactly the same thing will happen. We will continue down. So my first entry basically happened at 32. Actually, let me pull this over here for you guys. This is the today's trade. 6 trades, 5 of them winner, 1 loser, 4 to the short side, 2 to the long side. And also let me show you guys yesterday, because I got some notification, I didn't show it, and sorry for that, I have nothing to hide. So here is yesterday, and this one was yesterday, 3 winners, right? So let's pull this to the side. So my entry, first candle made a new low after the rejection, and I was waiting what will happen around VWAP if we're gonna continue down on the heavy volume. It didn't happen right away. As the new candle started, in a blink of an eye we were up right here. So at this point I didn't exit it because I still had confidence in the trade. So as we came up to the level, let me just change this back for today so I can see the actual times. I added to this trade 35 right when the rejection happened. I didn't wait too much. As we started to push down, I entered. Next candle started to push up again, but it got rejected. And as we came down, I exited 43, 42, 43, little candle, exited at once, everything. Very nice trade, almost 14%. Next trade, 45, entered 45, 45. I didn't enter right away at the break. I entered somewhere around the break of the previous low, right? The actual low of the day at that time. So I entered right here, 1 entry, 1 exit, and I exited at 49, 48, 49, and I exited right here. We had a temporarily pivot, right? On my actual level. As we came to it, I exited. So this trade a little bit over 15%, so it was a very, very nice trade. My next trade was on Tesla. Usually I'm not trading anything else besides SPY, but Tesla lately is extremely weak. So when the market had the weakness, I was thinking to follow up with Tesla, because overall the market weak. As the market was going up, Tesla was still coming down. So just the amplifying effect, as the market comes down, I was following up with Tesla to see if we can gain some profit out of it. So my entry on Tesla was 955. And actually, this is the candle. The thinking of my entry over here was based on, we created a temporarily pivot level, right? As we came to it, we had support, but we already pushed down, right? So we have kind of rejection of the new candle, right? So my next entry, as we break that candle, and for a temporary moment when I entered, actually that's what happened. This candle was red, but the support stepped in again, pushed higher, didn't reach a new high, and we started to come down. And this was a very, very short, because in Tesla I traded for a long time. It's just better not to be in it for a long time. That's my take on it. So my exit was at 58, 57, 58. This was very, very close. As we break the opening range candle, right? That's the opening range candle. As we break below it, I exited. Make sure there's no support there. And this trade also about 15%. Very, very nice trade. So my next trade, back to SPY, because that is the bread and butter. Back to SPY. So my next trade on SPY, let's see the timing. This was a long one, but let me explain why I didn't enter right here. It was a very, very nice setup. It's turned out to be a great trade, right? We created, after a huge rejection from 78, we created a bull flag, right? Picture perfect. But in my take on it, if we look to the left, we had a double bottom. I had my level, congested levels, and it just wasn't enough move for me. So I didn't take this trade. Yes, hindsight, now we see what's happening. Beautiful trade. It just steamrolled through everything. So it was a very, very nice trade. I didn't participate in it. And as I said, my next entry was on to the long side. I entered on the 11. Yes, on the 11. And the reasoning behind that entry, as we were coming down, this is a parabolic rejection. My original thinking was exactly this. Was the right thinking, just not the right time. First candle make a new high. As we started to reject the very next candle, creating the wick, I exited on that particular candle. So this was 5%. And on my next trade, that's when the mistake happened. So my next entry to the long side, as we started to gain momentum back to the long side, as the 1030 candle pushed very strongly higher. We closed above the pivot low. So I entered in the very next candle. The continuation happened, and I tried to enter in the very next candle as it opened, and I get a very, very bad feel. Let's go to the option. I already mapped this one out because it's a valuable lesson over here to learn. So my original entry, the candle make a new high, very, very bad feel. I got filled at 84. As we were coming down, we had a drop, rejection, and we started to gain, buy up basically all the rejection. On the option contract, we don't see it. Let me go to the actual SPY chart. We can see it. It has a little wick, and that's where I entered in anticipation. The move is gonna continue, the buying up the candle, finding the support level, right? Buying that one up, and the move will continue higher. Unfortunately, didn't happen, so this was an addition to the original, but I still didn't give up on this trade. So as we was coming lower, let's go back to the option chart. I entered right here. It's on the candle. I entered at 57. It wasn't the actual break of the next candle, as it was as it started push up. 57. Original entry, 2 addition, and my average, it came to 77. So that was my average. As we came up, we rejected basically that level, and it's a pivot level also on the chart, right? We came back, the original breakdown, we're rejecting that level, and this is also that pivot low, right? So we're rejecting that particular level. We rejected once, a big push down, we're buying everything back up, becoming a great green candle, up, rejection, and as we were coming down, breaking that rejection candle, I was exiting. So in this case, 73, I wanted to exit at once because it's a rejection to create a small loss. It's my average was 77. I got fill on 73, less than 5% loss. Everything's good, right? That's what I thought. But I didn't get filled completely. So I just get a partial fill, about 30% fill on my contracts, right? At this moment, let's just leave it there. So at this point, I'm looking for my next trade. Let's put this trend line over here, and my next trade is happening at 10.50, and this one, my last trade to the short side. 10.50, we broke the trend line, we have a confirmed downtrend, we broke a pivot level. I was patient right here as we was breaking that candle, temporarily went a little higher. We didn't create any new high, so I wasn't concerned of anything. As we were coming down, selling as we break on each candle, and the last exit as the green candle open and make a new high. This was my last exit, 15% gain. So altogether we have 4 beautiful trade. We had a 13.5%, 13.75%. We have right here another 15%. On Tesla trade, we have another 15%. This little trade give us a little bit over 4%. And this trade, 15%. This trade over here, I thought I have a small loser. Excellent day, no problem. But when I was looking for my trades, I see I have moving numbers on my P&L. I say, how that can happen? I close all my trades, I exited out of all my trades, and that's the only way. If you have somewhere you have open trades, as the price fluctuate, you have a moving P&L. So I had to start to look for my trades, and as it turned out, this was the open trade. And I looked into it, 30% fill on these trades, so 70% is keep running. And if you remember, this trade is to the long side. So as we're coming down, this trade losing a lot of value at this point over here was more than 50%. It was about 60. So I wasn't panicking, because what we have to understand is, with the option you have limited loss. If you're managing your trades, you're managing your account properly, one single trade, it will never be a devastating outcome, right? Even if it's expire zero, you're losing all your invested money into what is in that particular trade. It won't be a devastated effect on the overall account. So in this case, I was thinking, try to manage the trade. Unfortunate event happened, try to make the best out of it. So at this point, we are approaching to a double bottom, right? We created at this point, that is the bottom. We created a bottom, we are approaching, and then we holding this up pretty well. So we can make the assumption this is gonna be a double bottom, because at this point, right, we won't know so which direction we're gonna go. So I added to this trade at 11:01, as it reached my level. I added at 35. So let's not forget, my average was at 77, right? So this trade, where I added about 60% lower. So with my addition, we lowered the overall from 77, I believe it was 60 some, the average. It doesn't show the average, so, but it's somewhere there in a 60 some average. As it turned out, that wasn't the bottom, so it got flushed one more time. Let's go back to the contract. Yeah, actually I have it right here, 35, and the lowest we went on this contract, it was 7 cents. I wasn't consider any more adding, but at this point, sudden drop, it's created such a big momentum down, the 35 cents, right? The 60% loss in an instant, literally on an instant, as we can see, one single candle from the 30s became to the low 10s. So I was like, okay, at this point, we already done so much, and it's not a good example to follow. But again, in this case, we just have to think a little bit, right? What would I gain to sell all my contracts? I already lost so much out of this particular trade. We already at the bottom of the value of the contract. So I was thinking, let's see if this day gonna turn around. I wasn't considering adding anything else. I didn't add anything else to it. So let's go back to the actual chart. So basically, exactly that's what happened, right? All this, it's regained. Don't think it's gonna be my answer. Yeah, I sold it right here. Don't think that is, that is just in the stories and in the furus, not the gurus, the furus videos. So basically, what happened is, I was holding all this choppiness, and as we started to go higher, when we get to VWAP, because VWAP is it's a highly traded institutional level. What else would be the best spot to sell? I was thinking exactly that. And my exit, this particular trade, I averaged after selling and all that stuff 12 contract. This particular trade is cost me over $800. I lost almost $400 in this particular trade. So it's everything is here. So it's not this is not just a storyboard. So everything is right here. And basically what happened is, as we came up, you guys saw the minutes also, I sold one at 106, which is this candle as we were hitting VWAP, and I sold all the rest on 15 and 16. 15, 16. Here is another valuable lesson. As we can see, the actual price for SPY, right, regained to the same level. It came back to the same general area, 75 area, right? And this is why the option 0 DTEs, or for beginner traders, it's a dangerous vehicle to trade. And this is the reason why. Even the underlying is back to the same price, 475, 1030, 130, so it's about 3 hours span. The price for the contract $75, and I sold my contracts 27, 28, 29 as we are approaching this area, right? So even the underlying regained the full price wherever it came down from, the option contract, as we're getting closer to the expiration, the time decay, it's eroding the contract, right? So this is why we not recommending for a very, very new beginner trader to trade 0 DTEs. And even if we're trading it, that's why we scalping it. We are going very, very fast in and out. It's give a very, very short momentum, right? A very, very short burst of momentum, creating huge opportunities. So let's see it over here, right? Right now, if I'm holding it all the way, we regain everything what I lost, plus from the 70s went up to the 110s. It's another 40 cents. So more than 50% profit if I would hold it all the way, right? But that's just not how it goes. So I try to manage the trade. I try to sold in a best way and a best place as possible, because we don't know what would happen on a downtrend, on a down day, when we're reaching VWAP. This is just the craziness of the market, as we're dropping down 6 points and regaining 6 points by end of the day. But it is what it is. We know the market is manipulated in a level as we cannot control it. We just have to make the best out of it, right? So if you guys like the video, please hit the like and subscribe button, and see you guys tomorrow with another episode.